go button.
I just wanted to do that. Oh, we are live. Sorry. I never know if we're live or not. All right, you guys, we are in the minute to win it, maybe 45 seconds. I'm a little awkward and I can't really make up my mind, but we're going to let this heat up for a little bit, let all the little digital tendrils reach where they need to go. If you are checking this out on Facebook, it is also going straight to our Twitter accounts. @ Comic Book Look is our collective one, and then @ Jon On Demand for mine. And then you see our Twitter handles here in the names too. @ Mark C. Shelton 1 and @ Tom Stu Divine. Get connected with your boys. We're random. Mark is especially random on Twitter, I gotta say. Yeah.
And I straight up haven't logged in like 6 years.
Your account is hopping. It is hopping. You have like 8 million followers.
What I do though is I think I still have my link. I might have my Instagram still linked there, so you may see it. But I definitely go to Instagram if you want to catch me.
Oh man. All right. Well, I suppose we should open the show here, you guys. So without further ado, the best drum roll a guy can do on his glass desk. That was really dumb sounding, but it's a comic book look at your boy Jon On Demand, aka I don't know. I don't really have one today. AKA repping Snowbird from Alpha Flight. That's what my AKA is. Joined by co-CEO Tom Divine. There can only be one. Midwest Highlander.
AKA Puck for today.
Whoa. Okay. All right. We got this. All right. And then finally, you guys joined by amazing co-host, brother from another mother. You can see us on such singles as Lenticular, hip hop track. We got Mark, AKA the begging and boarding bad boy. Now, before we get going too far, Mark, we need to address that shirt again. We were just talking about this. I love that shirt. Also, I love that we're all in beanies tonight. I just wanted to point that out. So that's great minds think alike. I mean, you can't knock it. Yeah. So just collectively, we are a comic book look here, though, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. I Can Talk. If you're tuning in, like I said, through any other platform aside from Facebook, consider joining us on the Comic Book Look Facebook group to continue the conversation. We'd like to have fun. But Tom has prepared a steep itinerary tonight, so we're going to get into it.
That's right. I prepared that very quickly. Barely remember what I wrote, so I'm excited for John to go through it. It'll be like new for me, too.
New 52. Before I get going, though, how the heck are you guys this week? What's new? What's shaking?
Doing good.
Yeah.
A little bit cold in Tennessee. Surely not near as cold as South Dakota.
I was gonna say, Mark, come on.
Yeah, Mark, you know what, dude? When you say shit like that, it makes me want to drop kick you and then pile drive you, okay? Because no, it is not.
It's cold for us. We don't have snow.
We are supposed to get 6 inches of snow again tomorrow. It was fucking today actually wasn't too bad. It got up to like 38 or so. Yeah. But like it's going, yes, the day before it was like 18 and was the high. And it was with the wind, it's like back down to 5. It's March. St. Patrick's Day's here. It's been 60 degrees before.
Yeah.
God, I'm so ready for this shit to end, man.
Yeah, it's been a rough one.
I feel you, dude. I hate the cold right now too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough one, Mark. But yeah, we get it though. And when you're not used to it, 40 degrees could be like the end of the world to some people. And for us, it's like, oh man, what's next? So, but yeah. No, other than that, it's a new week in comics, so that's a win. Yeah, so looking forward.
Oh yeah. Other than that, I mean, I've been good too. I had a great weekend. I saw Ant-Man. I saw Cocaine Bear. So I had a busy week. Haven't watched your guys' episode. I was off the last episode during the most legendary episode of all time for a comic book look. Clearly. Great. I'm glad I was in Salt Lake City for that one. Great. But yeah, so I gotta catch up on that. Other than that, it's been a good week. Good to be back with the boys, talking comics.
That's what we do. All right. First comment of the night. Chop and Drop is in the building saying happy new comic book day, comic books family. So happy new comic book day to you. Comic book Sabbath. Let's take them to church. That's so we're kicking it off with a would you rather question. These are rough waters here, and this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, I think, tonight. Taylor, hello. Would you rather have a comic book with a good story but bad art, or have a comic book with good art but bad story?
That's a tough one there, John, and that's why I proposed it, because I didn't, even when I wrote it, I was like, I don't really know what my answer is.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But I have to say, as much as art is very, very important to me, and it is, I do love looking at comics, and I love to see what the artist's rendition is. It's like, if it is written so poorly that I can't keep flipping to the next page, it's hard for me to keep flipping to the next page. And sometimes it's usually because it's overwritten. If it's underwritten, a lot of times I can just keep kind of getting through it. But if it is overwritten, so in that case, I think I personally would say that I would rather take a well-written story with bad art. Even though I'm sure I flip-flopped on that my entire life. What do you think, Mark?
I feel the exact same way, because I know, like, I could be reading a comic that's just, if the story is just hitting, even though I know the art sucks, it's like something in my mind, if the story is just so good, I will adapt to that artwork, and eventually, I guess just art being subjective, I will eventually just adapt to that art and like it, even though I know it sucks, but the story is so good, it just doesn't matter. I'm all about that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Isn't that true? I never even thought about that. You're exactly right, because once there's been plenty of stories that I think are just so good, and it's not because it has a standout artist. It's just because it was written so well, and then you don't even think about the art. It just becomes the story. And then at that point, that could be considered good art, right? Because at least it's doing the storytelling thing. But even if you don't like the style, their aesthetic, or how they inked it, or how they colored it, or whatever, when you start cooking in a story and you're flipping pages and you're just so stoked for what's going to happen next. Yeah, man, you do kind of lose that art. And that probably kills a lot of artists who spend so much time on panels. But, I would say the perfect is, of course, amazing art and amazing story.
Sure.
What do you think, John?
Honestly, I kind of am in agreement here that if the story is rough, I struggle with it. But I will say that there are times where I find myself like, oh, is it like pleasing to the eye? Therefore, it must be okay. I've actually had some whoppers lately. I won't say names, New Mutants, where the story and art suck. And I don't know how that happens, but it sure it has been a thing. I don't mean to knock it if you guys are liking the book, but it was not good. I'm sorry. As someone that reads all the X-Men books, when I say I'm not even worried about issue 2, that's bad.
That's so fun. That's so
bad. It's so bad. Taylor's weighing in here. Good art, bad story, hands down. Followed by bad art ruins a good story every time for me.
See, Taylor's different. Opposite.
Yeah. And then she followed up with, whole point of comics is that they are so visual. If the art is bad, what's the point? Dan Robertson's checking in with this. Hey, Dan, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm on the fence on either or, but there are times where if the art isn't good, then I'll pass on it. Same for the other way as well. Yeah, and that's fair. It's kind of a shame, in my opinion, if something's really well written and then it looks like, a high school project or something. I don't know, or when it just doesn't match. There's times like that too where the art isn't bad. It just is like, what are you trying to convey here? This is not the artist that you wanted for this book. I don't know.
I think I agree with that completely. That gets me a lot of times with, John Romita Jr. He's doing Spider-Man right now, and I think he's really good for Spider-Man. Yeah. And he's a legend, right? And he comes from legendary family, and he's a comic book, pure through and through. He has 6 diamond earrings in one ear, just flexing so hard every time he takes pictures of him drawing at the wall with all those diamond earrings. I think he's so cool. Yeah. But when he's on the wrong story, like sometimes if you got him like on a real hard Punisher story, you're like, huh? It doesn't fit, even though on something else it's amazing. I think there are a couple guys out there like that.
Yeah. We got a comment from Taylor here. John Runyon is overrated. What?
Damn.
John would need a dude.
I know.
Oh, you knew.
Mark, come on.
Mark walked right into it, dude. Yes.
You got me. Feel bad for you.
I love it.
That
Yes.
was amazing. No, she says. Oh, brilliant. Phil's checking in with us through YouTube. Phil, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Hopefully you're having a good one. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a great question though. And to me, we're spoiled with books that have the holy grail of both. But like I said, I've met some doozies lately where I'm just like, why am I even getting this? Like, come on. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those, like, can I just sell it back to the store for a fraction? I don't know. Just get it out of my collection. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I would add though, do you ever feel like the cover artwork makes you buy a book that influence your purchase of a series you weren't getting?
Allegedly. I mean, I don't know anyone that would buy anything just for the cover, Mark.
I was gonna say, you're asking John this. John is like the king of buying things only for the cover. We were looking at the wall today. He was just pointing at random books that he wants to get all of the covers for because
I got this really cute Silver Surfer Scotty Young today. So
that is cool.
Because I had little glasses on it. It was very spendy, but
I agree. Remember, I got this one last week just because of the cover. You know, I would have never bought this book.
Yeah, you literally owned it too. You were like, I'm never gonna read this series. And yeah,
never.
So, you know, the other heartbreak to all of this though is when you see a cover, and this was me as a younger reader, you know, before you got used to the drill. But when you see a book and the cover is just fire, and you're like, okay, I'll try it out without even opening it. But then you open it and you're like, what happened? Like, does it? No, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, I mean that is the king of like
catfish, comic book catfish.
Yeah, is that art? That cover art is so fucking bomb, and then the interior art is so different.
So bad. Yeah. So I don't know. There's definitely times where you just kind of wilt a little bit, but that's okay. Dan's following up here. There are times I look at times I would do that for that reason. Oh, sure. Checking interior and cover. But other times I'm like, why did I buy it? Oh, that's right. The front art. Yeah. I wish I had other examples of me buying things just for the cover, like Bloodline issue 2 Peach Momoko cover, even though I already have the other ones. This is fine. This is fine. Everything is fine.
Master John, it's okay.
Mark, you are legit judging me right now with your wisdom. Yes.
Never, man.
You're like the comic book Buddha over there with your ramen consuming Ewok. I love it. Anyways, great question, Tom, and I think that is something that it's very poignant as we're seeing here in the comments. I mean, people are, oh man.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, cool, man.
Like issue 3 of Godzilla in Hell, that was one for sure. Oof. Yeah, that sounds like it would have a cool cover. It should have great interiors. Oh man. Taylor's saying, I love when I hate a cover and the interiors are amazing.
Yeah, I do like that too. Like sometimes like a cover's like, this is junk. What are they doing? But you have to pick it up anyway because it's like the series you're already buying. And then you get inside and you're like, they should have let this fucking guy who drew this interior do the damn cover. It's way better. I love that too.
And then Taylor says, don't ask me how many Poison Ivy copies I bought solely because of the cover. I mean, I might have a crap ton of variants. I'm not going to lie. I'm Team Pamela. That's the only reason she's carrying the DC universe right now, guys.
And I used to do that shit. I have so many Zatanna covers and stuff as well. That's like, that was so, I'm glad I don't do it anymore. Okay. Every once in a while, if it's a real good Zatanna cover, I still will snag it though. Or just any person, Polaris, any green-haired people, you know, I always grab those too.
Yeah. So I don't know. Shout out to Poison Ivy for carrying the DCU. I mean, all these other books. Lazarus Planet. What? I'm just kidding. Mark's looking at me like I just want to punch you right now. Mark, am I okay? Don't judge me. Mark, are you reading a lot of DC right now?
Not at all. That's why I was like,
oh, okay.
I don't think there's really much to.
Not much you were gonna like rope punch me.
No, dude.
Okay. All right. Well, let's we'll segue here over to some comic culture news. First talking point: James Gunn will direct the next Superman movie, instead of Guardians of the Galaxy or Suicide Squad, etc. That's an interesting take on Superman. I can tell you that already. I think that this might be a formula for win and success. Because if you can make a raccoon and talking tree marketable and make a crap ton of money off of it, maybe he can make Superman like appeal to the masses. Not saying that I actually am Team Superman now.
Oh yeah, that's right. You are Team Superman. You love Superman now.
Yeah, which is really weird to say, but Ivy's still carrying the U. I mean, but Action Comics has been fun. And shout out to John Kent. I haven't read the new John Kent thing yet though. So
honestly, I think it's cool too, right? James Gunn has usually a very a specific vision. Well, whether you like it or not, like whether you liked Suicide Squad or whether you like Guardians of the Galaxy, at least there was like a tone and it was slightly different and it like saw something. It was trying to be very specific. And I think that could be really good for Superman. Now, I like the old Superman. I like the dude who played Superman before. Like, I think he's awesome. So I would love more Superman with the dude who's in the mission, who went to Mission Impossible and stuff. I can't remember his name right now. But I mean, whoever he takes, that's fine. I do think it should be good. It will be different. I don't think James Gunn will do the like he's trying to be like a really edgy in Suicide Squad and in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's being very funny but kind of like hip at the same time or something like that. And I think he'll find his own originality with Superman, where he'll have Superman will be, probably very kind-hearted and some other adjective, but James Gunn will be able to do it in a very specific way. Yeah. He comes from like Trauma and Slither and a bunch of those, very odd, off-putting stories that can be off-putting to like major audiences. So I'm sure he won't go that deep into, what he's done in the past. He'll keep it enough Superman. But I'm actually excited. I think it's good. I think it's smart of DC to do, hand over the reins.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be fun. We'll see how it goes, and I'll probably go see it at some point. But I'm not like in a rush or anything either. So
yeah.
Mark said he's going to opening night.
Yeah, what do you think, Mark?
I might, man. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing that Superman. I'm real behind on DC movies as well. Like, I didn't see Black Adam. I'm probably not going to go see Shazam in the theaters. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to knock on the Shazam film because the first one I thought was hilarious and amazing. But this one, it's just like, it looks like the Brady Bunch with capes. And I'm just like, I'm not really feeling that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's been too long or something from the other one. So I like don't really remember it very well. And yeah, I don't know. And yeah, we're all coming off of Black Adam. For those who didn't see it, heard it was terrible. And for us who did see it, we know it's terrible. So it's like, yeah, I kind of agree with that, Mark. Not as much hype around the DC. And I think comics wise and movie wise, I mean, yes, Lazarus Planet. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of people picking it up, but I'm just not talking to those people. So I don't hear much about it right now.
Dan's just checking in here. Gotta go. Have a good night. And then also, I don't know what happened to my camera. That was awesome. Oh, my internet evidently is angry right now. So this could get dicey. Anyways, we'll move on to the next topic, I guess, here. We have Tom reports an uptick in garbage pail kid stuff.
This is what I was noting to John this at the counter at the comic shop, but it seems like there's an uptick in garbage pail kids shit that is available that they're putting out. There's like the Garbage Pail versus Mad Balls. There's I think, Mark, aren't you picking that up?
They're getting it all.
Yeah.
Hardcore Garbage Pail kids.
And so as I've seen it more, I heard, Mark, you telling me that you're picking this, or you showed it to us that you're picking it up on one of the previous episodes. I'm like, where is this coming from? Why in 2023 is there an uptick and Garbage Pail Kids. And I tried to think, it's like me and John are just a slightly too young to have had Garbage Pail Kids because it was a little too cool. Like we were like Cabbage Patch kids because we were younger still. And then it's like the cool teenagers who are like 4 years older than us, they liked Garbage Pail Kids. And I feel like that's who you are now, Mark. You're like cooler than us. You're like the cool guy who's a little bit older. So like you like better things like Garbage Pail Kids. And then us, we're like, what is Garbage Pail Kids? Why do people like it so much? I don't know. That was my feeling. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Mark, tell us, why do people love Garbage Pail Kids so much? Is it all nostalgia or is there another reason?
Man, it's like, I was born in 1980, so it's like my dad would get those cards for me, and he was like really into sports cards, and I was still young, so I really didn't follow sports hardcore like he did, but like I would go to like card shows with him, and I'd get those Garbage Pail Kids, and like I was like addicted to them. I remember there was like a point in my life where like before bed, that's what I would do is I'd pull out my Garbage Pail Kids and I would just look at them and study them. They had like comics on the back and you could like read them. And I remember like my mom was like worried that it was like going to rot my brain, kind of like the comics and things like that. So I had to stop looking at them before bed, but I've just have always just loved Garbage Pail Kids. That era of like guys my age, we grew up with really gross stuff like Mad Balls and Garbage Pail Kids, and it was all about like snot coming out of your nose and boogers and just all kinds of just gross out 80s vibe.
On the GBK note, Taylor's just saying that they rule, and she's just highlighting they're also releasing new sets of GBK Kids right now, and that's what Tom was pointing out, was just all the different sets and stuff. This Facebook user, this is actually StreamYard and our group not getting along in terms of privacy settings. So this is actually Brian he is a customer of ours at Rainbow Sioux Falls, saying pure Magic Man, gotta be grossed out by all the different cards. The artwork is lit, which is awesome. And then Taylor saying it's just gross and weird, and they're so fun and cool. I love that they're just made to be a riff on Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, everybody loves a good parody. I agree. I think that's
there fair. Is a Garbage Pail Kids movie too that came out in like 87, 88. So try to look that up if you can.
Oh boy.
It's really bad, but
dude, I expect a full Blu-ray release, like deluxe package with an exclusive card.
Dude, it would sell a ton. Look at all these people clamoring for Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah. Just make it happen. Make it happen. Oh, man. All right. Well, that definitely was a heck of a discussion there. Up next, Tom, this one is intense.
This one is intense. And so I wanted to I figured this is how we do it. I'll kind of, so what I wanted to do is I couldn't really find a lot of other news, and the Garbage Pail Kids thing I just kind of made up because I saw a bunch of Garbage Pail shit at the comic store today. Yeah. But this one, I was just thinking, John's getting ready to publish his own comic. We should, all of these publishers will soon be fighting hardcore over the future offerings. So we should kind of break them all the publishers down, kind of give a little opinion on where, are we reading any comics from them, how we thought about them historically. It can be really quick. Johnny, I figured you just, name the publisher, and then all three of us will just take a quick crack on what we think of them, even if it's a simple thumbs up. They're a good publisher.
All right. Well, up first, we had already mentioned it here, Dark Horse Publishing. Dark Horse.
Okay, Dark Horse. I'll go first on this one. They've been around forever. I feel like they were extremely strong for a long time with Hellboy and BPRD, always putting out other books. That Dark Horse standalone book was really good. Recently, I feel like the only time I'm really seeing really good stuff is maybe the stuff from Matt Kent, which I always love. So I do like they still publish his books. What is the the superheroes from Jeff Lemire that are caught in that other dimension, the farm? God, Black Hammer. So Black Hammer and Matt Kent books, still crushing it. but now Black Hammer's kind of told most of the story. So, you know, I don't know. I think it's time for Dark Horse to find another new cool book and, you know, break it to the masses and bring us the next Hellboy. That's my opinion right now. I think they're able to do it. We're gonna see comics from them for a long, long time. They're stable, but I think they could do something to really push it. That's my opinion. Mark, what do you think of Dark Horse?
First thing that comes to mind is they've got that Masterverse comic going on right now. DC had the rights to He-Man and Masters of the Universe, and now it's back over at Dark Horse again. So I would expect to see, just like you're seeing a lot of Garbage Pail Kids and 80s stuff like that, you're going to see probably more He-Man books coming, which I'm totally down for. So that's what I grew up with and loved was He-Man. So you might even see, I don't know who has the rights to Thundercats, but that might actually come out as well. If you remember, DC had like a crossover with He-Man and Thundercats. So hopefully we see more of that type stuff from Dark Horse.
Yeah, that's a good one. He-Man.
Yeah, Dark Horse. I see them definitely as just a long time in the game and a lot of great quality. If I'm being honest, I actually prefer some of the Dark Horse like Star Wars offerings compared to some of the newer stuff that's been coming out through Marvel. And so I feel like they're more apt to want to dig in and have creators that really flesh things out, world build, tell the story. And there's usually a pleasant surprise or two that comes from them as well. Whenever I want to try something new to me from them, I typically am not disappointed. So yeah, I think that it's cool. I will say also, just in meeting with creators as we're going through making our comic book, we've had a chance to connect with a couple of creators, and Dark Horse is always lifted up as a positive experience for them too, for existing artists and writers in the industry. So.
Oh, that's cool. Good to know.
Yeah. Up next, we have Vault.
All right. Well, I would say for me, Vault, they were they shot to comic book fame, right? Because we had loved Autumnal, and that was like both me and John's favorite book. I have seen, and they came to and Mark's, and they came to SuperCon. So I love them. That was probably like 3 years ago, but I don't know. Maybe they are struggling. I haven't seen as much from them lately.
Yeah.
So my shout out, know that in my heart, Vault, we've always loved you here at a Comic Book Look, and hope
we should get them on. I'm going to reach out to them.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. We'll do that. We will do that. We're going to talk to Vault. All right.
John, what do you think of Vault?
Like you said, Autumnal rocks, and they had like their own little like horror imprint going for a while. I can't remember what it was called, but there were some other books too that they did, and they did them well. I don't think I own a Vault offering that I don't like.
Yeah.
Except, wasn't that? Wait, hold up. I might have one. What was that book? That Witchfire book or whatever that was like bright pink.
Witch Blood, I think.
Yeah. Not good. I did not like that at all. Sorry. I'll be honest with you. Just as a reader, I went into it like super excited, like, oh man, Vault's got it going on, and this is like magical. And then I'm like, I don't like it.
Hey man, it's comic books world. Yeah. Every publisher's been there.
Yeah. So they can't all be autumnals.
How about you, Mark? What do you think? You like Vault?
Absolutely loved Autumnal, like y'all are saying. That's the only one that really comes to mind. I think there was a few around that time though that were coming out, like in that horror vein, that were good.
Yeah.
But like now, I can't tell you a single Vault comic that's coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm. So shout outs. Hopefully you're back in the game soon.
Yeah. Brian, this is Brian again. Empire Comic Press greater than Marvel.
That's right, boy.
The Empire Comic Press, you guys, is a local comic book publisher here, and they made Robot Dance Club, which is fantastic. Our boy Comic Book Genie, Mikey Martinez, is one of the creators there. And it was really a fun like ensemble. I remember this one year at SuperCon, Brian was there, and then it was like the whole creative team for like a few of the books that were out, and it was just such a hoot, like having everyone sign my book and stuff, and it was just fun, So
no doubt, man. Yeah. Empire, yeah, exactly. Any publisher that is publishing my boy Mikey Martinez, love it.
We are in. Aaron's tuning in. Shout out to Comic Book College up in the Twin Cities area, Mr. Aaron. Good evening, gents. Happy New Comic Book Day, and right back at you, good stuff. Aaron, by the way, I did procure a little cutie today. So Aaron loves his magic. So I picked up this variant of Strange Academy. And I'm very excited about it. I'll show you, Tom, really quick. There you go. But she looks all like magical and stuff, and I was like, I'm here for it. So
yeah, you love that magical stuff.
So I was very, very, very happy. All right. Up next, we have Aftershock.
All right, Mark, you take it first. You know Aftershock at all? You ever read any of those books?
That's another one that seems like there was some good ones. Maybe like in the past 3 years, they have had some good titles, but I can't tell you anything they're putting out right now. It's like of any count. I know like around Free Comic Book Day, they always have a nice offering that's usually available as well, but
yeah,
unfortunately nothing memorable.
I think I'm with you. It's like I felt like for a while I was picking off a bunch of them. And now I just, I haven't seen out. So once again, our heart goes out to you, Aftershock. Hopefully you can bring it back.
What about A Calculated Man? Because a lot of the staff at Rainbow read it and loved it. I haven't yet. I have all the issues. I just haven't read it. But there was a lot of love
yeah,
for that book.
That's a good book.
So, I don't know. Up next, I don't know if we've heard of this one or not, but Image.
I think, they're too big now to even keep talking about. So, yeah, I'm going to just say thumbs up, Buttercup.
Thumbs up.
They do it right.
All right. What about Marvel?
Yeah, you know what? I'll say, you guys know I hate Marvel and DC. And I don't really hate them, of course. I fucking love them. I have thousands of their shits, and I still buy everything they do. But guys know also I'm a cranky comic book geek, so I do hate them. But Marvel is putting out such a dank book with that Doctor Strange book right now that it's like, you know what? Even with what anything I can say bad about Marvel. I definitely do think they should pay their comic book artists and creators more. I definitely think that if they use a comic idea in their movie, that creators should be paid who came up with it for the comic book, not just the person who stole it from the comic book and put it in the screenplay. But besides that, they're still doing some cool things. That Doctor Strange book is so good that it lifts everything else up that they're doing in my eyes. So, even Marvel gets the thumbs up for me right now.
What?
Mark, say Marvel.
You're talking about the one Trad Moore does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so good. It's so insane and crazy and weird. I love it so much.
Trippy art.
Oh, yeah. What do you think of Marvel, Mark?
Oh, right now I'm getting that Deadpool book. It's decent. I just get it because I like Deadpool. But it's not bad. If it were bad, I'd probably go ahead and drop it. I guess it just really is like a lot of characters I love that I grew up with, like, your flagship Marvel stuff, but all the events kind of kill me a lot. Been trying to keep up with all the MCU stuff that just kind of is overkill. I think I am going to try to jump in on that new Avengers book when it comes out, though. I don't know if you guys have seen that new team come in. I think Jed McKay's writing it. I'm going to give that first issue a shot. But that's I'm not really picking up a whole lot of Marvel. I just feel like there's better stuff that you can get from the indies right now. And that's not even to hate on Marvel. It's just comics are like $4 or $5, so as you guys have always said, but with your dollars. So I just feel like there's better offerings out there for my money and time.
Yeah, Dark Avengers, I totally get it. It's fine. I agree, Mark. We've been talking about this for close to a decade.
Dark Avengers literally came out like 15 years ago.
I know. It's just they don't make them like that anymore. I completely agree. I get it. Come on.
I was complaining about it then.
Well, on the flip side, then we touched on DC lightly in this conversation, but let's just formally address it. DC Comics.
I think DC Comics has a thing going with Tom King right now that they're just putting out really well written books, and they can keep on doing it for a long time. So no matter else, yes, they may be dropping off in other ways, but I think right now DC is doing a good job of putting out evergreen books that will sell well in the collected volumes for quite some time after they collect all these Tom King books.
Right.
My opinion.
Yeah. I don't know this Tom King just because it's not Poison Ivy, so that's fine. I'm on a different echelon of DC. I'm totally kidding.
I love it.
Shout out to Nightwing. I haven't collected. I haven't read it yet, but it's on my to-do list. So I am very excited. Mark's looking at me like, "Geez, John's on one tonight."
That's true.
Man, he loves some Poison Ivy.
Nightwing has been consecutively good for like 10 years.
Yeah.
How is that possible? That maybe the best consecutively like strong title that keeps on going is Robin. Robin somehow, man. I mean, he is a badass. I mean, Nightwing specifically, not just Robin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and with DC, honestly, there are some really cool offerings. The DC Black Label stuff, there's some fun pieces there. Shout out to Swamp Thing Green Hell. That's been interesting. So yeah.
I forgot to bring that up. Exactly. Good point. So yeah, I mean, I think they're on track right now.
Yeah. Aaron's bringing us some wisdom here. Human Target was an excellent miniseries. Shout out to those covers. They're banging. Tom King and Greg Smallwood were on their A game. All right.
I agree. That book is just so good, and looked good and get like good paper and stuff like that. Good formats when they're putting it out.
The next publisher on the list here, Silver Sprocket.
I put this on because I feel like they've been doing more, putting out more books, but they're clearly some sort of real indie, into indie cartoonists, and they seem to be real LGBTQ friendly, and they always try to do some real diverse stuff. And like I'm sure somebody would give them the criticism that they're ultra woke, but I would have to say that I fucking love like every single book they put out, and it's like super cool, refreshing stuff. And it's to the point that if it says Silver Sprocket on it, I will buy it no matter what. I will just buy all Silver Sprocket books that come out, and I love them. So I think they are going to be a huge player in the game, and I think it's really cool to see them giving a bunch of people opportunities. Like recently, Caroline Cash is this artist that I really love from Chicago that I went and saw in Minneapolis. I met it because our friend Mark Wagner told me about her, loved all of her books, and then now Silver Sprocket is like putting out her Poo Poo Pee Pee book.
Sure.
So I'm super stoked, and so I'm on the Silver Sprocket train right now.
The train?
Yep.
That's cool. Tom, it sounds like Taylor's right with you. I love Silver Sprocket.
Yeah.
So that's
You're
cool.
right, Taylor.
Yeah.
We are right, Taylor.
Yeah. Okay.
Did they put comics out weekly? Like, are they on the shelves? Are they more low key?
Yeah, they don't put them out like weekly, but like they will, but they don't have any like series. So they put out like some of the books that I've gotten from them. I'll try to see if I can like find like Fun Girl, like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was a Silver Sprocket book.
Okay.
I know I'm just kind of looking around back here, but I do have a bunch out that I thought I was going to run across them. But anyway.
Tom, you'll appreciate this. Taylor says, for once, I think Tom and I came to an agreement with handshake emoji. Brilliant.
Love it, Taylor.
Oh, brilliant.
But no, really cool stuff. They probably sometimes it's collected volumes, sometimes it's like prestige format stuff. But it's all pretty cool.
Yeah. On the Silver Sprocket note, Everything Sucks maybe was from them, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. I'll pick that
up. Well, cool. I don't have an opinion. I just haven't read a lot of their stuff, so
let's move to the next.
I want to say one thing about DC though. Something with them is like you can't find. They're of course not with Diamond, so you can't find their releases and previews. If you go to their website, it's super difficult to navigate and find out what's even coming out. I'm really like that's just really putting me off too with them.
Oh, DC dropping the bag. Those fucking idiots.
Go to their website. You cannot even find out a cohesive release schedule of what's coming out. Maybe John knows because he works with Rainbow. I don't know.
No. So the multiple vendors thing now is so frustrating for us. John and Amanda do the ordering at our store, and Taylor does it for the Lincoln store. And just multiple vendors. It's awful, and it can be a lot. But yeah. So I don't know. I've tried to, even like Marvel site back in the day a few years ago, I was just like, okay, but where's a cool list of things coming out, you know? So I don't know. I usually just go to Diamond for the majority of my needs. I don't actually read a ton of DC, so I don't need anything outside of Diamond, thankfully. But this is fine. Taylor says, I can't stand Lunar's website. Lunar's one of the vendors. Yeah, that's funny. Up next, here's a familiar face in the list of publishers. Boom Studios.
I would say for me, Boom Studios, they're still putting out that Berserker book. Other than that, I haven't been picking up too much from them.
There's a book called Berserker?
I maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Berserker. There's no vowels.
Lol. That's awesome. Yeah, Boom Studios for me has been crushing it with Power Rangers. Come on, get out of here. You took my childhood and made it into a 100-issue plus thing. That's amazing. So yeah, Boom's been absolutely destroying it for me in a great way. Boom has some decent titles, and by decent, Taylor means amazing. The best she's ever wrote. I don't know. But decent. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Boom.
Mark, do you read a lot of Boom?
I feel like I used to a while back. I can't really think of anything I'm reading now. I don't think they're a bad publisher though, but I don't think anything's really came out. There might have been some miniseries here and there I've picked up, but I can't remember.
Sure. Brian's checking in with us here. Again, this is Brian, Facebook user. IDW has done my favorite franchises justice. Keep Eric Burnham writing, and I'm all in. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you like him. He comes to SuperCon and stuff, so that's awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I forgot to put IDW on that list. That's how fast I wrote that. So definitely, let's talk IDW. It's they usually have some good licensed stuff. Every once in a while, they put out like an original book that's really good as well.
Yeah.
I think they put out Layla Starr last year.
Oh yeah.
That was and that book was like awesome. Or maybe that was Image. I don't know. I think maybe it's who knows. But I think every once in a while they put out some good stuff.
Yeah. Up next, Scout. This is another one I'm not familiar with, so I don't have too much of an opinion. But
these guys are just putting out anything. They put out a lot of garbage, but every once in a while you find a diamond in the rough that is just like so good. Gut Ghost, I think, is really good. They have like a mullet cop that's really good. They've just every once in a while they have a little offshoot that I really, really love.
Seems like there for a while they were putting out one shots, and then it was like, if you like this, check out the trade, rather than just having like another issue after that issue that you read. So
I remember I got a couple of those too, and every time I got to that though, it was like I got to the end, I was like, I would never read a trade of this garbage.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was Scout doing that.
It definitely was. You're right, Mark.
And then finally, what do we know about this? Source Point Press.
There we go. We got, of course, I feel like I always saw them and I always picked some, like a book up from here or there, and just was not impressed, right? But then we got Good Boy came along, and just, I feel like that is their flagship title. And we've, of course, have liked that book. So I think that's good. Yeah. And then, yeah, so that's my Source Point Press.
Yep. I've enjoyed several of the offerings through there. I love supporting good humans, so I'm a big fan of Garrett Gunn, Dr. Christina Blanche, and I just, they've been just great friends, and we visit on the site a lot, and I'll tune into her show or his live, and just connect with them that way. It's a lot of fun. Garrett's going to be in town this summer for the Voices Against Cancer event in July, which is super cool. So we'll have a chance maybe to see him again. I love a lot of their offerings though through Source Point Press. It's just very dynamic and boisterous and fun,
Yeah, definitely very cool.
Yeah.
And then I would just say some ones I didn't put on the list, but are because they don't put out like books that are monthly, but like I will still always love Fantagraphics and Drawn and Quarterly and the Strangers Publishing, which is like a fanzine that I pick up little stuff from that published Mark Wagner, our buddy. So yeah, shout out to all those. I still think they're doing great stuff. Would love to see some single monthly issues from him.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, with that was a lot of ground tonight. It's interesting just kind of hearing, like, you could literally just go off on any of these, if you were versed in the material or if you just saw it in passing. So yeah, it's an interesting topic. Let us know in the comments, you guys. Thank you for all the comments this evening so far. But in the comments, if you do have any opinions on any of the publishers, feel free. This is the time to dish. Throw it out there. Moving on to the next section of our show here. We are really just going to kind of talk about what we're looking forward to reading this week. So if we have a book in particular that either came out today or that we just purchased, definitely this will be the time to highlight it. I am done talking for a little bit, so Mark or Tom, you can go first.
Mark, what do you got? Why don't you go first, buddy?
Let's see here. I read Cauldron of Horror.
Sure.
And this one came out from AC Comics, which I'm not real familiar with them. I think I remember around the time when COVID was hitting strong and we weren't getting books, then they came back. That was like on a lot of the comics. I don't know if that was just the ones they were putting out that was on, but our comeback will be stronger.
I remember seeing that. I did. Yeah. I think other people put that on there. It wasn't just them, I think, for a little while. Now some other are, but yeah, and I've been seeing a little bit more from this place as well. I'm glad that you picked that up. I was thinking about picking it up. I didn't pull the trigger because my pile's too big right now.
I feel that. It wasn't like amazing, but I haven't read everything from my stack, so I thought I would just highlight this one because I do love horror comics. You get like 3 stories in this right here. The first story is probably the best. It's like these 2 women that work together. One of the girls had taken this other girl's man and took her job, and like to get revenge on her, she like gave her this statue, and the statue like makes the lady Hulk out and like causes chaos in her life, and one of those type stories. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was just, that was cool to read. Then there's like just a monster that just follows this guy around and like scares him to death. And then I'm trying to remember what the last story was. Something along those same lines, just very sci-fi, just in that vein of horror. This guy's like watching his kid grow, and like I think he was born around like a radioactive plant, and he ends up like hulking out as well. So not like anything new, but I like comics like this. I like picking up stuff like this right here.
I did too. That's like a good pulpy, fun read. It doesn't have to be tied to anything. Just good old comic booking. Yeah. What do you got, Johnny?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know. Can I do an honorable mention?
Of course.
So I'm gonna cover this up because this is incriminating. But I just wanted to highlight. I got X-Men number 40.
Damn, son!
But this is really exciting for me because I love old X-Men, and this is the first time that they meet Frankenstein in the Marvel.
Very cool.
That's sick. And so I just wanted to lift that up because it blends into my upcoming show that I have in the works for this fall. But I'm so giddy. I had no idea this existed, and I should because I love my X-Men. And it's just a win for my collection. Any X-Men under issue 100, it's so rare, like it's just so fun. So I'm very excited. But
so cool, dude. I mean, I'm so jealous you got that book. That's really dope.
I am really it's surreal right now. Like I think I might read it tonight. We'll see. But the book that I'm really antsy about this week, and I've been really looking forward to this for a while from Marvel, is actually Hellcat. I went with this peach mocha cover, gorgeous. As always. And this character just interests me because I don't know anything about Patsy Walker. She appeared in She-Hulk, which I'm also reading. So she's been popping in and out of there. But this is literally a magical murder mystery kind of a thing, I guess, is the way that the solicitations described it as. So we're going to be maybe seeing Mephisto or hanging out in limbo. I don't know. But I'm so curious to see how a street level hero is going to be doing all this craziness. I'm here for it. Hellcat. Let's go. So
is Hellcat an old character that they brought back, or is this a new character?
Hellcat's been around for a minute. And so there's been a couple of maybe limited runs of her. But she often seems to intersect with just the most random things going on in the MCU. I don't know. So like I said, I maybe have had her appear in some issues, but I've never read a solo thing before.
That's
so this
cool.
will be my first time for that. So
awesome.
Yeah. Tom, that book is fantastic.
Yeah, that's my Marijuana Man book I got today. But I'm gonna read that for sure. But the one I want to bring up is I got Megan Mogg, Amsterdam. Simon Hanselman is this really, really cool artist and our cartoonist. And this book fucking rips. I've heard about him on Instagram. Absolutely loved his stuff, just haven't had a chance to buy it yet. And then Mark Wagner gave me this as a gift because he knew how much I was stoked about it. So now I'm like really excited to crack into it and check it out. But it's pretty good. Here's our main characters. They're usually just being debaucherous and drinking and doing drugs and being not great people, but it turns out to be really fun to read.
Hell yeah, that's cool. The cover is crazy. The colors on that and stuff.
Oh yeah, and that says Amsterdam. You can't really see it, but that is what it says there, like in these wild colors. And he does all of his own colors. This is he does all of it not digitally, and he colors with food coloring. So
wow,
pretty wild.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Cool. That's it from my side of the world. A quick plug for Rainbow Comics. We do have our St. Patrick's Day sale coming up, you guys. 17% off of board games, select Magic the Gathering, and non-vintage sports card singles that are $25 or less. All 17% off Friday through Sunday, starting on the 17th. So this Friday through Sunday. And then for comic book back issues, you basically go out, find what you want. You come up to the register and see Most Likely Me, and you click a button on our tablet, and it does a wheel thing. And the discount is between 20% up to 50% off your whole stack.
Wow.
So it's a true game of chance. This idea did come from our Lincoln store, so shout out to Taylor.
Taylor.
She's throwing some shamrocks here in the comments. So yeah. Which PS, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. And on a St. Patrick's Day note, I don't mean to speak for Tom and Mark, but we are very lucky and thankful for all of you who continue to support the show, tune in, participate. We just appreciate that. We really enjoy just the camaraderie and talking comics. So yeah.
And remember, John likes you guys. I don't like any of you at all. I like John and I like Mark, and I don't like anybody else in the audience. So just remember.
What about Taylor?
Taylor, no, she's still on the fence if I like her or not, especially with all of her opinions about Morbius. So just remember, everybody, that John loves you, and you can be on John's side. Know that I don't.
I'm just happy to be part of the conversation. I'm happy.
What, dude? Oh my gosh. Well, I love you guys. So,
I'm just kidding, guys.
The feeling is mutual, Tom.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Brian says, "Ouch, bro." This is rough tonight. This is rough. All right, we're getting a little spicy. Anyways, you guys, check out the St. Patrick's Day sale at Rainbow. We'll go ahead and shut it down. If you guys don't see us next week, it's because the Wendigo and Polar Bear Vortex, whatever, got us up here in South Dakota. So Mark will be carrying the show for a while. But other than that, we are a comic book look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. If you are, once again, tuning in on any channel except for Facebook, consider joining our Facebook group, A Comic Book Look. We'd love to have you and continue the conversation. I am @ Jon On Demand. Tom is @ Tom Stu Divine. And Mark is @ Mark C. Shelton 1. Oh, what is this?
I drew this for Mario Day while we were hanging out today. So in honor of Mario Day, everybody,
yes.
This is my Mario drawing.
Please post that in the group. I love that.
Right.
Yes,
cool.
I love that a lot. Yeah, thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys most likely next week unless the world ends. So, as always, I'm going to hit you with the traditional keep it comics without hat and shades on. I got a hat and glasses on. I'm getting old. But I'm going to have Mark really bring it with the outro.
Bagging and boarding is never boring.
Peace. All right, you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you again for tuning in.